All right, let's get into the burn on America and tie in the current events going on so we understand the time and hour that it is as these things are folding in on that part 2 and that set is being revealed for the part 2 and whatever else. All right, so and part 3 and part 4, because we're living in crunch time and these things are overlapping and they have to sync in one time to new time and these types of things. So the burn on America, I've told you, that's coming, and this comes from the so-called Back to the Future Part 2. When he Back to the Future is a foundational storyline, and it's considered a perfect trilogy, and Biff Tannen is based on Trump, so that's why this storyline is being talked about and used by me. Okay, so in case you don't know, the Judge Piro, that's the pier and the dock for the dock, Christopher Floyd, or Lloyd, whatever his name is. He's in there, and then that's the dock, and then the Pyro, that is the fire and part of that burn, and then the dollars, they are being basically burned into tethered dollars. And then we're going to feel that soon enough, as soon as that global switch happens. They're basically just hiding all these things through the Bitcoin in a way, and then that's where the Bitcoin's the new gold, and you have this gold. All these things are like an all-time high, and then it's going to be where the flood waters, they just crash open, and the water is so built up into heaven, and then it comes crashing down onto the earth in a way. Okay, so that's what's being done now. Okay, physically and spiritually, as far as your dollar and that mark of the buy and sell, that Washington and whatever is grown dirty and whatever needs to be cleansed out, and that water, those suds, those lies, all that neat stuff needs to be filtered through. So and that's where you're given the new living water. And then you put in your new bubbles and lies and whatever else is going on there. Right? So that's what's going on the world spectrum. Okay, folks? So the physical burn we've been seeing with Maui and Pasadena and the West Texas fire and these types of things, right? So these different burns will continue on America, and they will continue to take shape in different ways, and eventually that global switch happens, and that old room goes dark, that old world goes dark, and the new one turns on, and that's where the people are really left behind as far as their God, their dollar that they worship, and all these other things. And this is where like everybody's been taken up to the high spot, and you got to get your degree. Well, now you got to get a PhD. A bachelor's not even good enough, and all this shit. So you just got to get degree after degree after degree, learning nothing, and other than to push a pencil or to type into a computer that the AI is going to take from you anyways, and all this stuff has been built up to for this time frame. All your jobs for the past 40 years basically were all there to build up the AI system. Okay? So that's where you got to go into your trade, your fur trade, and different things like that, to replay and relearn some life skills and whatever else is playing out as your knowledge of God, knowledge of man, knowledge of Christ, basically common sense has all been taken out. And this is where you got people who have a master's degree and they can't figure out how to wire up a stereo, or they can't figure out how to hang up the TV on the wall, whatever stupid shit's going on with these people. Okay? Or they go into the doc, oh, this pill that has 15 effects, it says. Oh no, those are side effects. No, it says it's gonna happen, but it's only to fix one. So I'm gonna I'm going to do this thing that gives me all this to fix this. Well, that's correct. That's how we do things around here. But I don't have to change anything about what I do. I can still keep eating shit and drinking shit. Yeah, you can continue that. Sign me up. Sign me up. Here's your sign. You bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. When you get caught in the net, heaven's likened it to a net. You want to be hooked on. I'm being pulled around. I got a leash on. I'm following. Jesus taught me how to lead, not to follow. Jesus came to bring leaders, not followers. If you don't understand, then follow me, he said. But otherwise, it's within you. And it's all allegory anyways, because 12 disciples, Jesus, 13, all these are within you. The 12 chakras are within you. The 13th is up here. The 5 senses, the 6th sense. Out of this world, heaven, you're in a whole another area. You're not operating in this vibration. You're taking care of you, yourself. First law of Moses, supposedly, in that burning bush on the mountain. That Moses is within you. And that serpent's rising as the Red Sea is dividing your left and right hemisphere. Oh no, Pharaoh's after me. You're running through the serpent instead of having the serpent in hand and just throwing the serpent down on the ground and having him bite the shit out of the Pharaoh. Whatever. Then the Pharaoh, you run through, you make it through, you rise above, you keep going through the serpent, and then finally the Pharaoh is washed out in the middle of the left and right. The fear is washed out left and right when you make it through the divide. That's where you're at now. So as this burn comes, as your Moses is taken to the mountain, as your Moses is taken through the Red Sea, as your Jesus is taken to the cross, as your Noah is taken into the ark, all these things, as your Adam and Eve come, as your Lord God comes, as your Lord is taken and killed in Sodom, all this is within you. And this burn on America is going to happen within you, and the burn within inside, and all these other things. And we've had a time. And everyone's going to take these things differently. But we've seen in this world the past 20, 25 years, people got to take this, that, and the other just to fucking cope. Like, what are you depressed about? It's just life. You're just living. But it's all a frequency charge. You got this, that, and the other. You can either look at it positive or negative. Okay? So, this is where you got people saying they don't make any sense because they're worshiping animals over here and they're hugging trees over here or whatever, but you still got to chop the tree down to eat it or whatever kind of thing. So, but that still has the life of God and the light of God in it. That tree is just as much God as I am God. I just have consciousness. But it's still a light. It's that light of God that gives it life. That life of God is that life within me. So I connect to that tree. I connect to that animal. I connect to you. You connect to me. All these things connect, whether we want to or not. And whether we speak or don't speak. We're in the proximity of people. They get our energies. They feel us. They know what we're thinking. We know what they're thinking without knowing what they're thinking, without knowing what they're feeling. Our bodies communicate without communicating. The earth communicates without communicating. The begotten sons, they communicate without communicating. These lights control without control. Nobody's making you do this, but yet you go do it. That's what Jesus is coming to break, is a slavery system. To the system, the slave to the system. That's where you're a slave to the system. You got to get up. Got to run your kids here, drop them off. Can't spend time with them. And you got to go to work and be a slave for this dude over here that don't give a shit about you. That will fire you any day of the week. And then you got to go home and run your kids over to this, that, or the other. And then you got to go home and microwave some fucking food and gamma ray it and all this other stuff. You don't even have time to cook it. You don't even have time to love your family and to nourish your family. And all this shit that's going on. And you're a slave to the system. And it's corrupt. And just like in the days of Noah, when you're given over in the marriage, and all, we're given over into marriage now, and the marriage is corrupt. The wife, the husband, that's ownership shit. Okay, we're partners. A marriage is multiple things, and it's being taken. All this shit is multiple things, and it's being taken as one light. That's where the right and left are divided. That's where the burn is coming. That's where the gray area, the brain, the AI, all these things are coming up in you as you're divided. The devil's rising. And as the devil rises, the burn on America happens, the burn on you happens, all these things happen.